Nothing could keep me up, but okay. That was JID. God Does Like Ugly. I really do love this last song that he put on his album, Four Keeps, which is kind of a heartfelt tribute to his fans, right? The people who listen to him, to his core fan base. I love this. And I love this part right here. A lot of people's gonna relate to this. Back when producers wasn't sending me packs, I dropped some shit on SoundCloud, people didn't react. I'd be just happy to get 10 clicks on the track. I'd be happy to just get 10 clicks on a song. And I like this because this is gonna speak to so many people, right? This is a debilitating fear that people have. And this is a fear that stops people from doing a lot of things that they may otherwise want to do, whether it's their goals, their dreams, even if it's just a hobby. Let's say you want to put out a guitar, you play guitar, you just want to put it on YouTube to do a cover of a song, or you start a YouTube channel where you do song covers, or you want to rap, so you start putting stuff on SoundCloud, or maybe you want to be a YouTuber that talks about hip hop, like me. There's a lot of people who never even start because they're scared of this. This is a fact. Facts. This is a debilitating fear that people have, like public speaking or something. Yo, what if I put out the video and it don't go viral? I put out 10 videos and it don't go viral. What if I only get 5 or 6, plays or clicks on the song or on the video? This is a debilitating fear. And I find myself on parts of YouTube where I'm looking at old videos of just like random stuff. And you'll see a channel that kind of caught a small bit of traction. They might have 300, 400 subscribers, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 subscribers. But at a certain point, you look at their video chronology and they just stop posting because they weren't getting as many views. That's probably what they thought they were. This stops so many people. I'm glad JID spoke about it. People are afraid of the grind and they're afraid of embarrassment, especially when you're doing something public facing where everyone can see you, even people people I know might see the video. And then what if they critique it? What if they critique my song? Or worse, what if they see that I only have 10 plays? Like JID was saying, I'm just happy to get 10 clicks on the song. And 4 of them clicks be you listening to your own song, making sure you posted it right. I love that JID spoke about this. People are afraid of the grind, man, for real. And not only afraid, there's like a shame or like a humiliation aspect that they think they're gonna face, that they just can't get past it. JID was looking at the glass half full, like, yo, I'm happy to get 10 clicks on a song. I can relate to this because like a year ago, you look at my YouTube channel, like a year ago, like early 2024, I was happy to just get 100 views on a video. If I got 100 views on a video, to me, I'm like, okay, people was messing with that. If I got 1,000 views, for me, that's like, okay, that was a popping video. I need to do more videos like this. I remember when I got my first 1,000 on a video, I was like, oh yeah, I'm famous out here. Not famous, but I was like, oh wow. JID was looking at it the same way. I was happy to just get 10 clicks on the song. But everybody's not gonna look at it like that. People are gonna be like, damn, I only got 1,000 views. They're gonna start comparing it to others. And it's a fear that they have, So anyway, that was a good album. God Does Like Ugly. Hey y'all, I am a one-man show. I record, edit the video myself, create the thumbnail, everything. So hitting like and subscribe does help a bunch. Thanks so much. Back to the video. I mentioned in my reaction that this album would benefit more if JID cut out some of these songs and kind of stuck, because he does mention God a lot on this album. He refers to it even on the song K-Word. Of Blue feels very like godly. It feels very, ethereal and outer worldly. If he cut out some of these other songs like on McAfee, it will feel like he is more on topic to the theme of the album, which is God. God Does Like Ugly. It would feel a lot more on topic, which right now it doesn't. It kind of feel like at moments in the album, he's visiting the topic again, but he's not like on topic the whole time, or he's kind of abandoning it. It kind of feels for me kind of how Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers by Kendrick felt. Some people say it's a therapy album. There's like themes that Kendrick is touching on, but it's not consistent throughout the album, which is like not like his other albums. He's usually on point, on topic, on theme for at least a majority of the album. So I kind of feel that way about this. Songs could be cut out and it will feel more on topic, right? I've just come to the realization that JID is a great rapper. JID is one of those guys who is just a very good talker, has a great command of the English language. I've never seen him talk. I've never seen an interview. To me, he doesn't seem like a guy who stutters or anything like that. So that makes for a very natural rapper, freestyler, because he can just wax poetic very easily. It's just natural for him. Great rapper, right? But I've come to the realization that he's probably never going to drop something that I consider album of the year, or even like a top album of the year. JID does not strike me as an album artist, which is fine. The album artist is just what I prefer. I prefer album artists like Kendrick, like Lupe, Brownsville Ka, guys who are focused and like really Tyler the Creator. Even though I don't really like his music like that, I like that he's an album artist. They are very concerned about the album. The sequencing, the theme, like the album is a whole thing for them. That's what I like personally. Madlib also, as a producer, does that. JID does not strike me as that type of person. JID is someone who, when his songs come up in shuffle, it's like, yes, it's like, man, I really like JID. JID be going in when it comes up in shuffle. Over the course of an album, he definitely has moments. But there are times, earlier in the album when Community came on with the clips, or when the song with Vic and Staple came on, or even Skate, with, who was that guy? What's that guy's name? Dr. Drew? Dr. Dot. There are times where the features came in and their verses were just more engaging than JID's. It's not like JID had a bad verse, but they felt like they had more depth, especially earlier in the album. Now, towards the end, on songs like Of Blue, there's times where JID is like, he's on. Of Blue, these are like two of the best verses on this album by JID, right? I think the best verse on the album might be by Malice, but Of Blue by JID, that comes right after Malice. This is like, if Malice has the best verse on this album, JID has the second best, third best. He had a great verse on Community. And I've spent the album trying to figure out why JID is like really never connected to me. He's not like an artist for who, when he drops an album, like he said on that last song, this is for the people who jump up and listen at midnight. It's midnight where I am. I'm listening. It's midnight in California. And for the critics who's gonna nitpick, that's also me. But we're reviewing an album, so this is just what I'm doing. I've been trying to understand like why he doesn't really connect for me like that. And it's not that he doesn't connect. He has great songs. He has great verses. He can rap. Very natural rapper. It's the album part that's missing. And even on this album, when I look at the sequencing, the features are kind of loaded right here. There's a point in this album, like right around here, where it kind of slows down. Then you got On McAfee, which is just like, I don't know what the hell that song was. But then it goes back into Of Blue, which is like the best song on this album, like first or second best. And that goes into the K-Word, but then it goes into Fur Keeps. There was some thought put into this. Like someone thought about the sequencing and tried to organize it. But for me, it's just like, it's still off. I did like the song Skate. This is an awesome song. It has nothing to do with the theme of the album, but it's an awesome song. Very fun. You got Sierra on there. But yeah, JID is more like, a shuffle rapper. He releases, a song randomly on SoundCloud, or he releases a single. You listen to it, it's fire. But for me, when we talking about just albums, he has never made that connection for me. The features were all good, but I thought the features, they were just a little more engaging than JID. Now, JID did hold his own on that Community song and on the Vince Staples song. I'm not saying he's spitting bad verses, but JID does this thing, like when he raps, I'm talking about the flow that's like, like, and then he's not like a lot of time saying anything. Let me see if I can go find one of those examples.
The field with 1955 and I'm on 85 doing 95 in a 1952 Dodge.
You couldn't stop my drive if it was 1955 and I'm on the 85 freeway doing 95 miles an hour in a 1952 Dodge. Again, I like that he references the Book of Elijah because it plays with the God theme of the album. But, you know, in a rough, I'm real diamond, in the cut, chill climate, like, it's cool, it's good rapping. But for me, I find him way more interesting on songs like this, of blues, specifically this second verse. All the niggas I know with Doe left the hood didn't tell us adios. I was taking notes. The preacher was on TV telling me sinners, $109.99, he can save our soul. Telling God what I need, I'll fall on my knees and stand on my feet. I'm back on the road, sinner, repent and repeat. I just find it's the non sequiturs. I'm just not a fan of non sequiturs and rhyming. And then when it's coupled with, you know, the like that type of flow, it just reminds me of Eminem.
Of course I'm on torrent. I'm driving a Porsche over the floorboards, over the 4 points, wearing the 4 Taurus, getting an abortion and a divorce at the same time to hear us affording.
When Eminem is doing the whole, you know, of course I'm born, and I'm in a born with a born, it reminds me of that.
Cinnamon, venom, off feminine, off venom, and heart venom, and cinnamon, off venom, cinnamon, sauce venom, enema, give him an enema, short enema, melanin, no melanin, oh melanin, all men are friends.
Where like, yeah, Eminem technically is very good and he's rapping well. He's rhyming like a bunch of words, but he ain't saying shit. When JID starts doing that, like it gets given Eminem. When he's doing this, or what he was doing on Community, when he's on topic, on theme, talking about the apartments, or even on Of Blue, where he's describing the writer in the cabin, which I think JID, I like that he got descriptive here. He's giving us an imagery. It could be done. See, yeah, now I'm nitpicking. But he's telling us as opposed to really describing it and putting us in the scene.
Talking to himself, walking in circles in a secluded cabin somewhere cold, no phone service.
He's telling us he's in a secluded cabin. It's cold. There's no phone service. Instead of describing it being cold, or, you know, the things writers do. You know, if you read like books and stuff, and where they don't have the luxury of audio, so they really have to describe to you to put you in the scene. I think it's because I view JID as that level of talent. Like, he can do it. Now, maybe I could be mistaken. Maybe he can't do that type of thing. Maybe his thing is he can freestyle really well, and he goes in these songs and he freestyles a bunch, but then he polishes it and it just comes out as good songs. But I for some reason, I view JID as like, here's my thing. I think this is where I go wrong. For some reason, I view JID as lyrically elite tier. So when he doesn't do elite tier, or he's doing these odd flows, and you know, he's not really saying anything, and it's kind of like Eminem type stuff. Of course, I'm born, and when he's doing stuff like that, and then these hooks, that's like, it to me is just disappointing. But I'm also putting him on a pedestal that perhaps he's not at. So anyway, I think this is like super dope. Writing in cursive, he's describing an author. The way he described it, I think of an old gristled author. He's somewhere in the mountains. It's winter time. Drugs in a cabin. He's trying to create his work. But instead of describing it and putting us in the scene, he's kind of just telling us. Instead of describing the cold, he's like, oh yeah, it's cold, by the way. Instead of describing how far away he is from civilization and, you know, the seclusion aspect and the separation and what it's doing to him, he says like, yeah, there's no phone service. Instead of describing his state of mind and how it's fuzzied and he's not clear because he's been doing drugs, he just tell you, yo, he's unsober and he's smoking. Now, this is nitpicking, right? But I view JID, maybe falsely, as a type of writer who can do that. Again, it's like when you read a book and the author has to describe things like this in vivid detail because they don't have the luxury of an audio or a production, you know, a beat to where you can get a cold sounding beat, something just with a high synth and just slow drums, and it's like, ooh, it's cold, and you start to feel it, and then the rapper starts describing the scene, and it's like how Malice and Pusha T are really good at this. Malice and Pusha T don't just tell you, they describe the scene to you. They don't tell you explicitly. They describe it and put you there. So I think that's a part of my issue too. I'm putting these expectations and stuff on JID, and he's probably not like that, you know? So anyway, that's my thing with JID. I'm sure if I listen to more of his music, I can describe more in detail. Like if I just listen to like 2 or 3 of his albums in a row, I could probably describe more in detail why he's not in my rotation. Because again, I'm in JID's target audience. People who like rappers who rap about good content, and people who like lyrical rappers, good beats. Like I should be in that target audience, but he just doesn't connect all the way. But he's good enough, right? It's just, you know, the way I play him, he's not an album artist. But again, I put him in that elite tier of lyricists, I view him like that. I don't necessarily put him there, but I view him like that. So when he creates these albums and they're not like tightly knit and just, you know, like how you hear from Lupe or Kendrick or, you know, Madlib or even like Freddie Gibbs on some of his stuff, when it's not like that tightly knit on theme, you know, with, you know, these dope things happening in the album, I'm just like, oh, okay. That just, it was good, but it wasn't like what I expected. But that's me. That's what having expectations will do for you. It's a cool album. If he cut out some of the songs, it would feel a lot more on topic, because he's on topic. He's constantly referencing God on this album, but there are parts of the album where it kind of moves away a little too much for too many songs in a row. And then he comes back on topic. So I see the vision. There are plenty of good songs on here. Skate, Community, Of Blue is his shining moment on this album, in my opinion. The rap features, all the rap features I think were a little more engaging than JID, except Johnny Venus on the Skate song. It's my own expectations that's kind of screwing these things up. So anyway, that was God Does Like Ugly. If I had to rate this album out of 5 stars, what would I give this album? I'd give it a solid 3 stars. It's good. I think fans of JID, they're gonna like this. If you're a fan of JID, you already know his MO. You know what to expect from him. I don't see you not liking this album. It's not a bad album. There are some songs that, you know, I will never revisit again. The song with Jesse Reyes, Nobu, K-Word. Any song where they're like, yeah, and like this mosh pit, I can go without those. I'll probably like shave like 3 or 4 songs off of this. But if you listen to JID, you go to his shows and, you know, you already know, like, oh, he made these songs for the mosh pits and all that, you know, and for the crowd, to get the crowd going. So you already understand. So if you're already a fan of JID, I don't see you not liking this album. My favorite songs though, Community. I like VCRs. I like Skate. VCRs was with Vince Staples, right? Yeah, I was with Vince Staples. I like Skate and Of Blue. The best song on the album is Of Blue and Community. Like You Ugly and Work. I can do without those. You Ugly, Work. And I like For Keeps too. No, what they say? Nothing could keep me away. Yeah, so the best songs are Community featuring the Clips, Of Blue featuring Mereba, and For Keeps. And then yeah, I'll probably take out You Ugly. I'll take out Work. I'm taking out Nobu. I'm taking out On McAfee. And I think just based on that, that's already a much better album. G's. Let me see, what did G's sound like? I'm looking at G's. Yeah, that was a cool song and all that. You know, I wasn't a fan of the beat. So anyway, JID, one of the good lyricists that we have. He's a good lyricist. He's a good rapper. I think it's my own expectations that are ruining it for me. You know, I just see JID as a more elite level rapper. I see him like on a level, you know, almost A to S tier. So there are expectations that I have that come with that, but that's not JID's fault. I mean, these are my expectations. So anyway, that's all I got for today. What y'all think of this album? What's y'all favorite songs? I don't listen to a whole lot of JID music. This is like probably the first JID album I've heard in years in full. So How does this rank against his previous work, his most recent work? I mean, let me know what y'all think of this album, what y'all think of JID. That's all I got for today. Be sure to subscribe if you have not already. Top5rapwebsite.com. Peace.